call January 15th Broken Arrow City Council meeting to order. Invocation, Pastor David.
Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Father God, we come to you tonight, Lord, and we ask that your favor be upon all those here, God, that would be making decisions to keep, Lord, our city a great city. Father, I pray that you would give creativity and good solutions, Father, to those that are trying to fix the challenges and issues that face our city, Lord. And God, I just pray that you would continue to keep your hand of protection to keep this city a safe city as well. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, David. Okay, roll call, please.
Whippy.
Here.
Parks.
Here.
Lester.
Here.
Udi.
Here.
Thurman.
Here. Tonight we have Cub Scout Pack 935 with us, who can come down and lead us in the pledge. Stand, join them.
They might not want to call.
Yes.
Come to the front. Salute and pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you all, guys. Started telling me, but
Okay, next item is consent agenda. We have item F has been asked to table item F. Are there any other items to be removed or tabled?
Move to approve the consent agenda excluding item F.
Second?
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Wimpy.
Yes.
Parks.
yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Udi.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Move to,
I just wondered how long it's going to be tabled to the next meeting, or?
Yes, the February 5th meeting.
move to table item F. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wimpy.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Udi.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Item 7, public hearings, appeals, presentation of recognitions and awards. Presentation of the gold ball by Broken Arrow Tigers state championship football team and possible acceptance of a replica gold ball by the Broken Arrow City Council. Michael.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of Council, good evening. Last month, the superintendent and I, we have breakfast to talk about what's going on in the city, make sure we have good lines of communication. And the assistant superintendent of the school district, Chuck Perry, always attends those meetings, as well as some other member of the city administration. And obviously, that was just a couple of weeks after the Broken Arrow Tigers won the 6A Division I state championship. And in talking to the superintendent, obviously it's a tremendous accomplishment for our community. I know that a lot of members of the council have some very deep roots in Broken Arrow, have sat in the stands for many years, hoping and waiting for what took place on, I believe, on November 30th. And we felt it would be appropriate for the superintendent, the athletic director, the communications director, and the head coach and some of the players to come to the council and present the council with the gold ball for the support that we give to the school district and for our community. So at this time, I'd like to ask Chuck to come forward and to say a few words and then to make the presentation to the mayor and the council.
First off, thank you for letting us be here tonight. It's an honor. On behalf of Dr. Janet Dunlop and Broken Arrow Public Schools, we are excited to present something to the city tonight that hasn't been done before, and since Broken Arrow's been a school district. My dad played football in 1950 here in BA and graduated. My brother played in 70, and I didn't play football but graduated in 87, and so I've always had that goal and dream to bring home the gold ball to the city of Broken Arrow, and we're going to have the opportunity to do that tonight and present that to the council and the mayor. Would like to introduce our Director of Athletics, Steve Dunn, say a few words, and then he'll introduce Coach Alexander and the boys.
Thanks, sir. Good evening. Thank you guys for having our kids here, most importantly, and Coach Alexander. The word synergy has come to my mind since coming into this role back in May. There's just this great synergy between the city and the schools and all of the businesses in town. And myself, I've been in 2 meetings in this very hall this year to talk about events that we're bringing to Broken Arrow in multiple sports, and in partnering with the chambers and members of the city. We feel like we've brought a lot of traffic into Broken Arrow, and it's been fun to kind of see the relationship continue to grow. So we appreciate you guys very, very much. And as Mr. Perry mentioned, it couldn't have happened with a better head coach, a Broken Arrow graduate, who this community has been proud of for a very, very long time. And it's my honor to get to introduce our head football coach, David Alexander.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Mike, but you didn't need to do that. Thank you, Steve, Mr. Perry. Yes, it takes a culture of winning to win. Okay, winning a championship is never easy, right? But it takes a football team. It takes a coach. It takes a principal. Right? It takes an athletic director. It takes a school district. It takes a jungle squad. It takes the cheer and Ty Getz. And yes, it takes a city of Broken Arrow to win a championship. When I got the job, obviously it was a lifelong goal of mine. And to watch this group of teenage boys turn into a football team and go out and perform the way they performed every night and every day in practice. The way they worked in the weight room is actually unbelievable. And that doesn't happen because Coach Alexander yells at one football player or asks one football player to run this play or hires one coach, right? It's a culture, and I have to thank coaches, I have to thank players, I have to thank Mr. Perry and Mr. Dunn, right? Our high school principal, right? Mrs. Burns, our Ty Get coach and our cheer coach. None of this ever happens. I don't get to stand here in front of you guys tonight and ladies tonight, right? Without a culture of winning. Man, we're so proud. I saw a couple of you guys out in the hallway, right? Why didn't you bring the whole football team? Well, trust me, we probably didn't want to bring the whole football team tonight. Right, Mr. Thurman said we could take a picture with the mayor, and that would be fantastic. And I would cherish that opportunity to get my football team with you, Mr. Thurman. But probably in this room tonight with our coats and ties on would probably not be the right moment. I did bring a few of the young men down. They've got their state championship T-shirts on, and they're going to bring the replica trophy down here for us. Come on down, man.
Didn't recognize you, Coach, with a tie on. I know.
Come on, Mr. Lester. You've seen me a lot of times. And you're right.
You're looking good.
Thank you very much. I don't get to wear the suit and tie very much. Not bad, right? Okay. We would like to present, right, our replica state championship 6A1 trophy to Mr. Craig Thurman and the City Council. Thank you very much.
Mike, you guys going to get a picture of Krista?
Thank you very much.
Charlie, you want to take a picture? Okay, get the players in.
Come on, man. Just smile like you're having fun.
Well, this podium often gets in the way, so it's going to be hard to find a good angle. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Just in case, now back here. Should have brought this big trophy. Perfect, thank you guys.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you for letting us be here tonight. Thank you. Great to see you. Thanks.
So I'm not going to say it was my gold vest that I wore to the game, but this vest right here was at the game. Just kidding.
That
it
was
was
clearly it.
Yeah, it was clearly it. Yeah.
I was just telling the coach the week before they had a practice and a lot of the alumni out, and I went out. I thought, well, this will be good. The week before, see them really practice. And they were all in pajamas, including him. So he looks a lot more professional tonight. But the pajamas worked, you know.
Yes.
It worked. Try them again next year.
Yeah.
It was Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Top that.
We'll move on to 7B, presentation regarding the road closure of 9th Street in association with 9th Street Public Improvement Projects. Tim?
Evening, Council Mayor. I'm Tim Robbins, Construction Division Manager, presenting to you pending road closure we're going to have on the 9th Street. We've got some handouts, a little easier for you to see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the actual closure permit. It has all additional information you might have on there for you. I'm sorry, sir. Thanks, Steve. Yes. Okay, as the mayor said, this is associated with our 9th Street widening projects, the public improvements between 71st and or Kenosha and Houston. And what we're having to do is we have 5 crossings to do in this subsequent shutdown. We're looking at starting on this evening, Tuesday, January 15th, and we'll be proceeding through the evening. So we'll be shutting down the road between Elgin Place, East Elgin Place, and between it's on the south down to Dallas Street. So what we're doing inside that section is we're cutting across 4 water lines and a sanitary sewer line. So hopefully we're going to concentrate on getting the water lines done the first night, then start on the sanitary sewer line the second night, and have the third night in contingency. So the detour assigned for this work will be shifting traffic from going south onto East Elgin Place, and then taking that back to the west and down on 5th Street, and then connecting back onto Dallas. The shutdown will be consistent with that for the first 2 nights, and then the third night will shift to where we'll have the northern crossings complete, and we will shift our road closure down south of College on the next screen, if you will. And it'll look something like this, where the College Street will have access back north, and the southbound traffic will shift still back onto Elgin. This, like I said, this will last from 9 p.m. It'll start at 9 p.m. and will go through 6 a.m. And the reason we did it for 3 nights is to have that contingency in there, so we know we can shut it back, we can shut it down and have it back open by 9 a.m. and we'll be able to do it again the next night, so that the daytime traffic will not be impacted.
Team, you see any challenge with getting this done in 3 nights, or?
No, they feel pretty confident with it, other than any unforeseens that'll come up. We've got good weather for the next 3 days. These are pretty straight water lines. We'll be able to adjust accordingly as needed, and then the sanitary sewer line will be the tricky one. But with that third night, that's what we have in place.
Are there any occupied dwellings along there?
So we have reached out. So we started on Friday. We started advance notices, and then we had the contractor go yesterday and today, door to door, talking with each of the residents, trying to make sure that they understand. We've also we responded back to Facebook on that issue, that the houses along this residence, there's about 5 of them inside this area, and we will be ensuring that they have the ability to maintain access through it. So it'll be a closure to local traffic, access for local traffic only, and then the formal closure just at the crossings at each of the trenches. So it'll be a little tricky, and the contractor will have to direct them in their place, because we'll be attacking multiple crossings at one time in this section to get it done on time. So it'll just be a coordination with the contractor, and we've got everybody on board.
Excellent. So the motivation for them to finish is to know it's going to be in the single digit on Saturday night.
Yes, sir. That's correct. They don't want to be out there on Friday night. So.
Okay, any more questions?
All right. Thank you.
Item 7C, presentation regarding the Broken Arrow Police Department partnership with Neighborhood app by Ring, which is really pretty exciting to see this happen. Chief Berryhill.
Mayor, City Council, we're happy to announce that the Broken Arrow Police Department is the first agency in the state to join with Neighbors by Ring. The Free Neighbors app will provide the Broken Arrow community with real-time local crime and safety information. Residents can download the free app, join their neighborhood, use the app to share and receive safety alerts in real time to reduce crime. It's a free program to residents. You don't actually have to have the Ring program to download. It'll work with other vendors also. You'll be geographically pinpointed on your address, so you're only going to get alerts in your specific neighborhood, which is great. For every 20 downloads, Ring is giving us a free device, which we're able to provide those to victims of domestic violence. And we're also going to give those ways at community events. In the future, we'll be able to use this to collect video data in certain areas to help us reduce crime and catch criminals. We've also already put out some alerts specific to the Ring app already, so we're really excited about the app.
So citizens that are already on the Ring app, can they download again to get that count for that 20?
Yes, we've already had 200 downloads, so we've already received several devices that we're already giving out to victims.
Great.
And again, you don't have to be a Ring customer. The app will work with any vendor. There's other vendors that do the same type of program, but any resident can download the app and get crime information for their specific neighborhood or upload alerts if they have something they want to tell their neighbors about.
I know several people in our neighborhood have the Ring. We have a Ring doorbell. Can we download and city count that, or if we're already on the app?
If you're already on the app, it's not going to count, so it's all new customers. But the great thing is they do all the management on the back end, and all we have to do is reap the rewards. So for us, it's going to be great.
Great. Yeah, it's a great system.
I'd be happy to answer any questions if there is any.
I'd just like to thank the chief and his staff for taking this initiative. We're going to be doing some promotions of this. I think this is technology use at its best to basically to coordinate with, the proactive approach we take with our citizens and businesses to try to keep Broken Arrow a safe place to live, work, and play. So thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Item 8, citizen opportunity to address the council. No one has signed up. Item 9, general council business. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of resolution number 1180. Cindy?
That has to be done
After BAMA. So we'll, I guess we'll need a motion to table that till after BAMA.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Udi,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Item 9B, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of BAZ 2019 McGraw expansion. Larry Curtis.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Larry Curtis, Plan Development Manager. BAZ 2019 is a request to change the zoning designation on a 0.45 acre parcel from R3 Single Family DROD Area 1 to DM Downtown Mixed Use DROD Area 6. The property is located 1/8 of a mile north of Houston Street, 1/2 mile of Elm Place on the northeast corner of Ash Avenue and Galveston Street. A single-family residential structure along the accessory buildings are presently located on the property. Applicant, who owns the abutting property to the east, is interested in purchasing the property and removing the existing structures to construct a parking lot. It is the applicant's desire to construct a new building on the existing parking lot located to the main street and use the property associated with BAZ 2019 to construct a new parking lot. The property associated with BAZ 2019 has been platted as Lot 6 through 10, Block 67, the original downtown Broken Arrow. The future development guide comprehensive plan shows the property listed as level 5 of the comp plan. The DM zoning being requested in conjunction with Area 6 designation is considered to be in accordance with the comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission in their meeting on December 20th, 2018 concurred with staff and recommended approval of a vote of 4-0 of BAZ 2019. The Planning Commission recommended the plating be waived. 3 people spoke regarding the rezoning request. One speaker expressed concerns about some of the illicit activities taking place in the neighborhood, and that Planning Commission noted that this would be relayed on to the police department for resolvement. It is a recommendation of staff that BAZ 2019 be approved by Planning Commission and staff's recommendation, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions of Larry?
Was there any discussion during the planning commission meeting, because there's residential to the west, of having more landscape, at least on that side, to help soften the light?
If you may recall with the bank, National Bank over here, that added their parking lot, they were required to add additional landscaping along the street frontage, so that it's actually per zoning code will actually be required of that.
Is it on both sides? There's residential to the south too, so both sides.
And I assume the lighting has to be such that it wouldn't impact
Yes, that'll be per,
residents.
correct. Per zoning code, lighting cannot bleed onto outside of the property, and so there'll either be, it'll conform to either standard zoning code, or they'll have to actually do a light analysis to show that their light is not bleeding onto the right-of-way, which then would be the buffer zone between the commercial and the residential portion.
Any more questions?
Okay.
Anybody speaking on that?
Anyone else speaking on it, for it or against it? We haven't anyone sign up against it.
I make a motion, we approve BAZ 2019 as recommended by the planning commission and staff.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Item 9C, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of BAZ 2017, International Christian Assembly of Tulsa, 5.12 acres. Larry?
Yes, Council Mayor. BAZ 2017 is a request to change the zoning designation on a 5.12 acre parcel from R1 Single Family Specific Use Permit 74 and 74A to ON Office Neighborhood on property located north of Houston Street and 1/2 mile east of Garnett. The property is platted as part of Block 1, Lot 1 of Forest Hills Healthcare Center. International Christian Assembly of Tulsa, Inc. is proposing to build a new church on the property. In the zoning ordinances, churches are classified as places of assembly, and places of assembly are permissible in the ON zoning district. The future development guide of the comprehensive plan shows the site to be designated as level 3, and that ON zoning is a part of that level 3 designation and is in compliance. The Planning Commission, their meeting of December 20th, 2018, concurred with staff and recommended that approval of, by a vote of 4-0, that BAZ 2017 and that the plating be waived and approved. During the public hearing segment, one person spoke regarding the request to rezone. He shared with the Planning Commission issues they had experiencing with sanitary sewer and storm sewer on the property and obtaining easements from the abutting property owner. The Planning Commission and staff acknowledged that these items would be examined during the site plan review process. It is a recommendation by staff that BAZ 2017 be approved per Planning Commission and staff's recommendation. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions of Larry? No one has signed up to speak against this.
Make a motion to approve BAZ 2017 as recommended by the planning commission and staff.
Second?
Motion second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Item 10, preview ordinances. Consideration, discussion, and possible preview of an ordinance meeting, amending Broken Arrow Code of Ordinances. Trevor?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Back in December of 2017, City Council approved the Downtown Residential Overlay District requirements. Those requirements went into effect in January of 2018. Since that time, there have been 7 homes that have been built in the Downtown Residential Overlay District, and there are several updates that were identified by staff that needed to be made. These include setback requirements to clarify setbacks for corner lots, driveways, and garage widths, and alley access. In addition, there are proposed changes to define floor height for stem wall height access, also a maximum front wall width and maximum continuous wall widths. As you can see through the RFA, there are approximately 3 pages that detail the specific changes that were recommended by the Planning Commission and approved by the Planning Commission on December 20th, 2018, with a recommendation to the council to adopt it. As such, staff recommends that you preview the ordinance and approve it and set it for adoption. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about these changes.
Any questions of Trevor?
Make a motion to preview the ordinance and set for adoption.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. We have no preview ordinances. Next item, remarks and inquiries by governing body members. The only thing I have to say is I really appreciate Broken Arrow Public Schools coming and giving us the replica of the gold ball. After all these years, it's something special for them to win that ball. They've won every other championship in every other sport that you can think of, but it's really special. Anyone else have anything? Okay. Then item 13, remarks and updates by city manager. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening. Good evening, everyone that's here this evening. Just a few things I wanted to share with the council and the public. First, I'd like to thank the council for awarding the lowest responsible bid to Midstate Traffic Control and approving and authorizing the execution of a contract for the traffic signal at Hillside Drive and 23rd Street. We talked about this during the budget process, the fact that as a result of the increased traffic that has occurred over the last few years, there is a need for a traffic signal there to help folks to be able to get in and out of Hillside Drive onto County Line Road. I appreciate you approving this in the budget. It was something that the administration recommendation, and we also had a lot of residents that contact the members of the governing body and the staff about this. So I really appreciate you doing this. We'll move forward as soon as we get the notice to proceed, and normally it takes less than 6 months to complete it. You have to order the arms and so forth, but I will certainly keep council informed on the construction. Last month, we held our annual employee awards recognition and employee Christmas type event. Several of you were able to attend. I wanted to mention the fact that whenever we have this, we use it as an opportunity to recognize those employees that have reached a milestone in their career. We start off recognizing employees when they reach 5 years, 10 years, 15 respectively, all the way up to, in our case, we have some employees that have been with the city for over 45 years. And to me, obviously, 5 years is a long time to give to an organization. 45 years is almost unheard of. And what I'd like to do is just take a couple of minutes, and I want to publicly recognize on behalf of the council and myself, folks that reach 25 years and above. If I may, Mayor, let me start with our 25 years. Timothy Kopic, Pat Harrison, and John Walls all were 25 years. 30 years, we had Jay Hendricks, we had Clifford Montgomery, Doug Owens, who just recently retired to take another position with another fire service organization, Gary Sanders, Paul Treat, Harley Watkins, Jerry Waymeyer, and Lee Zirk, once again for 30 years. For 35 years, we had Brenda Biddle, we had Vionis Braden, we had Brian Chizzo, Leroy Manis, Larry Spring, Alan Stanton, and Norm Stevens completed their 35th year with the city, and I see two of those recipients in the audience this evening. And for 40 years, 40 years, okay, we had Russell Gale, who completed his 40th year, and we posthumously honored Glenn Cole, who unfortunately passed away last summer, but he was here for 40 years. And then we had two individuals that exceeded 45, and that is Robert Cook and John Myers. And so I just wanted to publicly acknowledge them and their directors for their commitment to this organization, in some cases 4 decades. And that's a tremendous honor.
Longer than Scott's been alive.
You know what, I was thinking the same thing.
Leave it to me to say it.
You're getting more like me.
So that just tells you the kind of commitment we have, and I just want to recognize them. A couple more items. The work has begun on the FY 2020 budget. We started with the capital improvements, and I'll be looking at that real soon, exactly what we're looking for capital improvements, and then we'll move to the operating budget for the various funds that we have. Once again, we'll be looking to come to the council in late April, early May to have those discussions with the goal of adopting the proposed budget, second meeting in May, more than likely probably the first meeting in June or so. And also wanted to mention publicly that the Parks and Recreation recruitment is now in full swing. We received approximately 30 applications for the position, And this Thursday, I'll be meeting with Jeanette McCormick and Kenny Schwab to actually narrow that pool. It's going to be extremely difficult because there are so many well-qualified candidates for our organization. Phil Hink, who's in the audience this evening, is holding down the fort until we find a new director. But I would anticipate that we will probably start those interviews probably sometime in late February. So I'll keep the council informed of what's going on. And then finally, last thing I want to say is I'm looking forward to hearing from Lee to find out about the recycling pilots that he's going to update the city council / authority on just here in a few minutes. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have this evening.
Any questions of Michael? Okay, item 14, we have executive session, so I'll entertain a brief recess to go into Bama.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Udi,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. I'll call the Broken Arrow Municipal Authority meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Here.
Parks,
Here.
Lester,
Here.
Udi,
Here.
Thurman.
Here. Item 3 is consideration of consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion second, roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Udi,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Item 5 is public hearings, appeals, presentation, recognitions, and awards. Presentation on the general service by Lee Zirk about updates in regards to the recycling program, pilot program.
Good evening, Chairman, authority members, Lee Zirk, General Services Director. Well, as you're probably aware, our pilot project is going to start next week, January 24th and 25th. Last time I gave you an update was on October 2nd, and we still had a lot of items accomplished before getting this started. So tonight, I kind of want to go through and tell you what we have accomplished in order to make this program a success. Right after the October 2nd meeting, on October 15th, we sent out contact letters to all the residents in the pilot areas, informing them that they were selected to be in the pilot area, and also let them know that there was some more information coming, and invited them also to an open house in November. On November 13th and 14th, we held the open house. It was at the South Broken Arrow Baptist Church and also at the community center. Also during that period, we had our consultant had a collection expert here working with our refuse team and looking over routes. He also attended that meeting to assist us. And I must say that those meetings were very well attended during those 2 nights, and we got a lot of positive feedback from the people that came to find out information about the pilot project. This past January, our refuse crews had gone to the pilot areas and personally delivered packets, which each of you have right there. And the packets look just like this, and we put them on all the residents' doors. Within those packets contained a lot of information about the pilot project itself. One had some information about the cart, the specific size and shape, so they could maybe pre-plan where they might want to store that and utilize it. There was an instruction sheet on pickup information, which also has how to use the cart, recycling cart, pickups times, all the basic stuff you need to work within a new service. There was also a several-page sheet of a question and answer to try to anticipate all the questions that any of the residents might have. And we also included a 3-page flyer that included everything about the pilot project. And there was also, and I don't have it in mind unless I didn't pull it out of here, there was 2 also little postcards that informed the residents how to sign up for notices about the recycling project, and also some additional information about recycling itself. Like the would have looked just like these right here. Did you all get any? No, I'm sorry about that. I'll just pass it around. Okay, inside all this literature, there's several areas where it does point out that although recycling is not mandatory, it's highly encouraged. So we're going to try to work with everybody to try to get everybody to participate in the recycling. Additionally, on top of this, we were working with Krista Flash to develop a Recycle BA website. And I'd like to bring that up right now. And if Krista, if you would, maybe you want to say a few words. She's done a marvelous job. In there it has the frequently asked questions, pilot program information, how-to videos, et cetera, and I'll let you explain that.
Good evening, Chairman and Authority members. Krista Flash, Communications Director. We designed the website to pretty much answer any questions, any and all questions that people will have about the recycling pilot project. It's a very easy to find website. You go to www.recycleba.com, and the landing page is going to have the bulk of your information. We put up about 5 30-second videos that tell people where to store their carts. Those were a lot of questions that we got at the open houses. What do I do with the carts? Where do I set them out by the curb? So Lee here hosted the videos and did an excellent job demonstrating where the carts should be set out, where they should be stored when it is not pickup day. Also information on how to use the carts and what can be recycled. There's also a link to our Action Center BA issue reporting application, which specifically goes to a section just for recycling. So questions can be answered on the recycleba.com website. People can also report issues through this web page as well. And I highly encourage everyone that is participating in the pilots to utilize this. This is a great resource that they can use throughout the duration of the pilot program. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Krista. Okay, moving forward, we have our equipment that's going to be picking up the carts is all set and ready to go. The tippers have been installed on the rear of the truck. Today, our drivers that are actually going to participate in the trash and recycle collection had paid a visit down to the Tulsa Recycle and Transfer to make sure they got their orientation and got familiar with how they're going to flow through the traffic and get through the facility to dump and weigh and all the ins and outs so that we can capture that data. Also tonight, Krista, you put out a message on Nextdoor to let the residents know that this is coming up, and also a robocall is going out. So we're trying to get the information out there so there's no surprises to anybody. Tomorrow morning, the carts actually arrive at our facility, and the cart team will be starting to assemble them tomorrow morning by 7:30. They're going to be heading out to the neighborhoods to actually deliver the carts. All the carts are going to be set at the apron of the driveway, and if there is no apron, right on the curb. It should take them about 4 days to get all the carts delivered. We're starting a little bit early because we also anticipate there could be some inclement weather, so we will make sure that we had enough time to get all the carts out in place, ready for the start of the pilot projects. Real quickly, you also have a color flyer that looks like, I got too many pages here. Looks similar to this. It has a recycle these, trash these. This will be, yes, that's it right there. This will be affixed to each and every trash cart as it gets delivered to the home. So that'll be another bit of information for the resident within the pilot project. Russell over here has a magnet that's going to be on the side of the truck that will pick up the recyclables, one on each side. We wanted to make sure that we identified the truck that's actually picking up the recyclables, because we don't want a truck out there being mistaken as a trash truck picking up our recyclables, because we know we anticipate that. So whenever that truck is out there picking up the recyclables, it will have that sticker on it. And then when it's being used to pick up refuse, the decal will come off. Starting tomorrow, our new pilot routes will be uploaded into our RouteWare system, and that'll give us this next Thursday and Friday to test run the routes prior to the start of the pilot project the following week. Our consultant, GBB, will be sending down a collection expert to be with us the very first 2 days that our guys are out on the cruise. This will be our first time to work and manipulate the cart, so he's going to be there to help coach us on and help us make any improvements that we may need and give us some ideas to help us be more efficient. Data is very important in this pilot project because we're going to need as much information as we can so that you can have the best report possible in the end. In addition to our routeware and our drivers documenting and taking pictures of everything that's going on, we are also going to be conducting 2 recycling audits at the sorting facility. The first one will be March 7 and 8, and during that time, they will separate the recyclables that we take out and count it and sort it all separately so we know how much cardboard, how much plastic, how much trash, how much contamination. That's roughly about 3 weeks after the start of the project. We will run another audit towards the end of the project, May 16 and 17, and do the same audit to see if our results are any better or worse after the pilot project participants have practiced using the recycling system. And that information will also be included in the data. This Friday, Mr. Gale, myself, and our consultant will be visiting with Shepherd Research, another bit of the data that we're going to be collecting, and we'll be discussing with them all the survey questions and information that they will be reaching out to the residents with to collect data as far as use and happiness and dissatisfaction, whatever it may be with the pilot project. And we'll look all that into a final report at the end of the pilot project. One thing that we're still working on is a little bit of education, and that is an OOPS tag or a contamination tag. Although we're going to pick up all the recyclables, when our staff sees a recyclable container that is excessively contaminated, we're going to hang a little tag on there to explain to them how they can better improve on the quality of the recyclables that they set out. So I'll also make a note that not everything's going to run perfect. This pilot project is not only for us to figure out what we're doing, but it's also a way for us to learn, and it's also a way for our residents to learn. So we know we're going to have a few hiccups along the way, but more importantly, we're going to learn how we may be able to tackle this on our large scale in the future. Also, I'd like to let you know that your constituents may call you, ask you questions. Please feel free to have them call my office. They're all staffed and ready to go. They have hopefully all the questions that we need to, or the answers we need to answer their questions. So please feel free to send them on to my office. So we are just about ready to roll, and I think our crews are ready to go. They're excited. It's been a long time coming, and we are really looking forward to make this happen. So is there any questions that I might be able to answer for you?
But just one, you've done a great job, Lee, getting us from point A to point B. And,
yes, sir.
And we wouldn't be here today without your
Oh, well, thank you.
One other question. I would like to know why the rest of the council got colored ones and mine's black and white. I'm just curious as to those kind of hiccups, those hiccups that come along.
Well, in our normal staff work, we try to use black and white whenever possible because it's much cheaper.
So these guys are special.
Well, I don't know how that happened. I apologize.
No,
okay.
It wasn't intentional, Mike, or was it?
No, I don't know.
Mayor, if I can, we just make one point. I think Lee gave a great presentation, as he always does. I want to focus on the tail end of the presentation where he talked about us being human and the fact that it's a pilot program. And the pilot program is just that. It's to learn exactly what we need to know so we can give the council the best data and the best feedback when it comes to you having to make a policy decision regarding if we will go forward. And it is just that. You haven't made a decision to do this permanently. And so we're asking you, if you have residents that contact you, to get those to us, either to Lee or to my office, and we will do our very best. If they have a problem with the recycling, I think it's important that they participate so they can let us know that feedback, both positive and negative, because you said you wanted to hear both. And I was very impressed with the fact that we had great turnouts at the open houses. After several years ago, it was a little bit different, but it seems the way we have presented this in a pilot program way, we're going to get off to a good start. So we're going to have to make adjustments based on how we do things. And if in fact, we run into some problems, we will address them as quickly as we can. But we definitely want to get the feedback from our pilot program participants so we can come back to you next summer with some good data and some good recommendations.
The telephone number, Lee, to contact, is it the 8373 number?
Yes, sir.
Have you had many people that declined to do the recycling program?
We have had a few that that said, I don't want the cart, and we try to reason with them on the phone and at least get them to keep it at their home and give it a try. And we do inform them that if at the end of the project, they're still totally against the cart, we'll come back and pick it up.
Okay.
Because it is voluntary.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because it is voluntary. The recycling part is voluntary.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
I think what I found when we had the community meetings was those that were skeptical were at least willing to give it a try. There are some that didn't even want to do that.
Mhm.
I think, as in most things like this, change is hard to come by. And I think a lot of people, because I've talked to people in Tulsa, and I think they went through this same issue when they went to recycling. And it's kind of like the Creek Turnpike. Nobody wanted it before it was there, and nobody can do without it now. So I think this is going to prove to be that same issue.
I think that the two meetings that you had set up, I went to one of them. It was very positive, all evening. Visiting with Councilman Lester later on, he ran into a little bit of a problem and a lot of debate. So I think he just naturally...
There was very little debate.
He just naturally draws, you know what I mean, that, and draws a negative.
Wow.
To
thought of that.
But
Thank
those
you.
were good meetings, and I
Yes.
appreciate it. And the one I went to was very well attended also.
Mhm.
So that's good. The bottom line is change is coming. The city manager, I keep repeating this, he's tired of me repeating it, but he says it's not sustainable. What we have now is not. You don't see any trash being picked up by bags individually anywhere across the nation, let alone across the state. It just doesn't happen. So, and change does take a long time. It'll take a while to do, but we've got to step out there somewhere and look at it and look at that final data.
Well, and I would reiterate what the city manager said. This is a pilot program. It's a trial. It's to allow us to know what works, what doesn't, so that we can make an informed decision. So I would encourage anyone who is thinking, well, I don't want to do this because I just don't want to do it. Well, your participation and feedback about whether it works or not will guide us, and if no one likes it, then that tells us something. If everyone does, that also tells us something, but we're not going to know unless people actually participate. So I would encourage, please participate, and if at the end of the day you don't like it, we need to know that. But if you don't participate, we're not going to know anything. So I would really reiterate that participation is key to allow us to make the right decision.
Yes. And I would also say the Shepherd Research, in case they didn't get the information, they're going to be a great resource, and that's a perfect venue to let your voice be heard, because they're going to report that stuff. And if any of the residents were not contacted or have not found out a way, they can get in touch with us, and we will put them in touch so that they can be surveyed on a regular basis and provide their feedback.
I'd also note that apparently working here 40 years allows you to be a model for the,
That's right.
That's right.
And you've been working on this ever since you started, is that right?
I've been here 30 years, so yeah, 30 years. Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? Really, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next item is general authority business, item 6A. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of resolution number 1179. Cindy?
Yes. In the fall of 2008, the authority authorized the submission of a loan application to the Oklahoma Water Resource Board for the amount not to exceed $4,255,000 to pay for costs and reimbursements, reimbursement of payments, costs associated with the Lynn Lanes wastewater treatment plant. Today, they priced the loan, and we got it at 2.57%. And the Oklahoma Water approved the loan on their December 6th, and the tentative closing date is January 24th. Staff is recommending approving Resolution 1179 and authorize its execution.
What was the percentage?
2.57%.
Pretty good.
Any questions?
I'd make a motion to approve resolution number 1179 and authorize its execution.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is no executive session.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Okay, we're back in regular city council meeting. We'll go to item 9A in city council business. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of resolution number 1180. Cindy?
Yes, the city must approve any debt incurred by the Broken Arrow Municipal Authority. Resolution number 1180 approves the action taken by BAMA under Resolution 1179, authorizing the issuance of its Clean Water SRF promissory note, Series 2019A, for the amount not to exceed $4,255,000.
Any questions?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 1180 and authorize its execution.
Second?
Motion second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we do have an executive session, so I'd entertain a motion for a brief recess to go into executive session. Clear the room for executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Motion second.
Two
Any
motions
discussion?
and a second.
Roll call, please.
Wimpy,
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Duty,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Yeah.